Am I the a-hole for telling my wife that, frankly, a sex worker would be cheaper and less stressful than her at this point? My wife, Megan, and I are both 31. We have been together for 6 years. We got married 8 months ago. Since we got married, Megan has all but completely stopped contributing to our household in any meaningful way. She doesn't cook, and when she does, I think she intentionally sabotages the food so I won't ask her to do it again. She doesn't really clean either, as she believes that as a college-educated woman, being a stay-at-home wife is beneath her. I would generally be fine with this, but Megan doesn't work either. Again, she's highly educated, but her degree is in low demand. My uncle and I run a plumbing company together, and so while I only have a high school diploma, I make very good money and have what I feel is a respectable job. I've long felt that Megan looks down on the work that I do, but that's kind of beside the point. If Megan pitched in and at least made an effort around the house, I would be fine with her not working, but the problem is she doesn't at all. Anytime I gently suggest she do something, she comes up with an excuse not to do it. I've had arguments with her about this because I would come home to a messy house and empty fridge, only find Megan sitting on the sofa on her phone. Personally speaking, our bedroom has all but given off its final death rattle as well, where intimacy is basically non-existent. This is partially due to Megan's insecurities about her physique, which, to be brutally honest, is about what you would expect of a person who sits around doing nothing all day. 2 days ago, Megan pushed things a little too far. We were having an argument about her neglecting to do one single task, swapping my clothes from the washing machine to the dryer, and she shouted at me, "If you want a bang made like your boomer uncle's wife, why don't you just divorce me already?" I didn't know what a bang maid was, and I assumed it was a sex worker. So I responded, "Honestly, at this point, a sex worker would be cheaper and less stressful than dealing with you." Megan absolutely lost it on me, and for the past 2 days, she has completely refused to even have a discussion. I have not apologized, but I wonder if I owe her one for my words. Comments. Time you reevaluated the relationship. What relationship? Ding ding ding! They're basically roommates. Roommates share the bills equally. She's a moocher. Reminds me of a certain song by Cab Calloway. Folks, here's a story about Megan the Moocher. She was a red-hot hoochie coocher. Yeah, but there ain't nothing red-hot about this hoochie coocher. A bad roommate. Even a so-so roommate can put the laundry from the washer to the dryer. Or help clean or cook. You know, a partnership of sorts. You have an entitled leech who appears to be utilizing weaponized incompetence to not help cook, at the very least. Shed some dead weight and find someone who brings something to the table. You deserve it. I'm second-year plumber, and I know I earn my money. Don't let someone look down on you and you subsidize their cushy life? I'd like to add I'm 44F. Dude. It took me years, and 2 kids, and therapy to realize my ex-wife just wanted a roommate and a paycheck to spend. Get out now and do not have sex with her. Consult an attorney, especially before you've been married a year. Being a plumber is a great occupation. My son was on the fence about college. I said, I'll pay for college or trade school. However, with trade school, you have to promise to get your master's license, and I'll help fund your business. He's very good with his hands and personable. He chose college, but I wanted to give him the option. I'm actually a degree holder. But I've never looked down on any profession, because we need people in these jobs. If your sink or toilet gets clogged, or your water stops working, boiler breaks down, you need a plumber. When your bins are full, you need a dustman. Your bills get to you because of postmen and the postal service. Your hospital is clean because they hire cleaners. If you're working and earning a wage, that's respectable. My grandfather was in construction. Came to the UK with my grandmother when they were 16. He started off working for others and ended up with his own company. But he taught his kids and grandkids that any job where you earn money for your children to eat is respectable and that people should be treated with respect no matter their profession. You are so right. I worked manual jobs summers during uni. I worked through post-grad. Degrees aside, it's good to know how to work. I have a shop down the street, 2 buildings away. The guy replaced my water heater in 1 day. I needed my pipes fixed under my sink. He brought his tool bag and walked over. 15 minutes. He saw a cracked washer, tightened everything, tested to ensure it was not leaking. And when I asked him how much, he said, nothing, and we shook hands. Exactly. No sex, no unplanned pregnancies on your part. Without telling her, seek advice from an attorney. Now, so you can get out of this with the least amount of financial damage. Be glad she's shown you who she is 8 months in and not 3 years in, when there might be a child or two. Mad respect for plumbers. And thanks for the reminder that I need to call 1. Yeah, it really sounds like it might be time to take a step back and think things through. When frustration builds up like that, it's a good opportunity to reflect on what both of you really need, and if those needs can be met together. Sounds like Megan needs therapy and a gym membership. Who doesn't, though, now that I think about it? I've long felt that Megan looks down on the work that I do. Why did you marry her 8 months ago then? Right. Deaf fake emo bro. Are you crazy? Just divorce my guy? It's a repost. Hold up, he's married to your guy? He is married with 2-person and is mad the relationship does not work, SMH. Get out before she gets pregnant, or you've been together too long and she takes half your company. I was wondering about kids being involved BC of the mention of Sage. As a father of 2, I'm telling you, you need to get your shit together about exactly this type of sharing work agreements before babies. Afterwards, life actually gets tough, and this kind of behavior and fights is exactly what breaks young families' necks. There is no "this is below me" anymore afterwards. There's just, somebody has to, and we need to start swimming together or drown separatedly. I think it said Sage W, which is a stay-at-home wife, I presume. This. And the weaponized incompetence OP mentioned, her screwing up cooking so she doesn't have to do it, is a huge red flag. Weaponized incompetence, and believing that contributing to basic household tasks that support that household she lives in are beneath her are not good signs. This will absolutely keep becoming a fight until you're both in agreement on household partner expectations. Let's be real, she's doing the bare minimum, and you've stooped to matching her energy with insults. You're both playing a losing game here, and it's time for either therapy or goodbye. Like a cycle of resentment and passive-aggressive behavior that's going nowhere good. Not the whole, even if she worked, you both would have to share household chores 50-50. Her not working at all puts her in the at least 90% of household activities, so her not doing anything and living of your money, yet looking down on you in your job makes her the AH. At this point, you just have a freeloader and not a relationship. I would get a divorce before the year mark. If this is real, I have some questions. I find it crazy that she waited until y'all got married to exhibit all these qualities. Was she working before y'all got married? Her physique couldn't have changed that much in 8 months. Why did y'all get married? It's a toss-up between ESH, because I don't feel she changed up that quick, and not the whole, because no one should put up with her. Story 2. I just ruined my parents' marriage. Advice needed. I really am feeling so awfully guilty right now, and it's the type of guilt that makes me want to disappear forever. Backstory. My dad and my stepmom have been married since 2010, and they've known each other since 2006. I found out about a few months ago that, 12 years ago, my dad had gotten another woman pregnant while deployed, and he didn't know. This whole time he's had a son in another fucking continent. The way I found this out is from communication with this boy's aunt, who went through Ancestry DNA and sent me pictures of the results. Sure enough, it showed that both of my great-uncles on my dad's side are his great-uncles too. Didn't show my dad on there because he hasn't done a DNA test before. Current situation. Anyways, today she asks me if she should reach out to him with the DNA results. In the moment, I'm thinking it's a good idea, because he should take accountability for what he did, right? But after seeing the reaction he had to that text message, and hearing both my stepmom and my dad crying in their room, they never cry, and I mean never, I am feeling absolutely horrible. It's now nearly 3, and I can't even fathom what I've done to them. Do I deserve to feel guilty? Am I the asshole? Guess you can't turn off comments. LOL FML comments. I think you are leaving out an important piece of information. Your other post shows that your dad knew about the child, had known for years, and chose to deny the paternity. That the mother had sought financial support previously, but he convinced you then it was a scam. You were of course shocked to learn the truth, that likely what you had been told then by your brother's mother was the truth. That your dad had multiple instances of infidelity, with multiple women. At a time, he was also married to your stepmother. So yes, he has been a wonderful dad to you, but a terrible dad to your brother. And your stepmother absolutely deserves to know the truth. If this caused them to break up, it will not be because of you. Your father has had years to tell her on his own and sort this out. You did the right thing. and it is up to your father to take responsibility for his behavior then and now. My father ruined my parents' marriage. OP, I fixed your title for you. He cheated, then hid it and lied about it for 12 years. He's a pause whether he had a child from it or not. The way he handled that part only makes it worse. My dumbass being like, this is a big revelation, but 12 years ago was way before they got married in 2010. This shouldn't really ruin anything. I'm confused, that's where my head's still at. Haven't they only been together since 2006? Edit. OMG, 2006-2026 is 20 years, not 10. I am dumb. And old, and 1990 was only 20 years ago, yet somehow I have a 29-year-old daughter. Math is the worst. I graduated high school in 2006, and I am painfully aware of how long ago it was, so Dad cheated on stepmom while deployed. Didn't rap before the tap. No telling what kind of fun gifts he brought back to base from that. And he's denying paternity. Dad of the year right there. Daddy dearest deserves everything that's coming to him. And everything it's going to cost him? Being a good father doesn't always equate to being a good person, especially when he wasn't being a good father and husband to others relevant in his life. But you are a good daughter to your stepmom and a good half-sister to your new half-brother, and I hope you take comfort in that, OP. This comment needs more upvotes and should be at the top of this thread. It is, for me, exactly. Even if he didn't know and try to deny it, it was still a direct consequence of his actions, and he needs to be accountable. It wouldn't be okay for him to cheat if it didn't result in a child, and it's surely not okay to abandon a child to hide an affair. If it's not abundantly clear, not the a-hole. Your dad didn't own his pre-relationship baggage. Any issues caused by the information is his to own, not yours. Essie, is it pre-relationship? 12 years ago, but found out a few months ago. So call it 13 years. So it happened in 2011 or so, and he was married in 2010. Oh no, that makes it so much worse. My heart breaks for that poor boy. Wild horses and a file of Marines couldn't separate me from my child. How can people not want anything to do with the child they create? Because a lot of guys like sex more than they like babies. I swear, someone needs to come up with a male version of the word slut. Some dude with several kids from multiple women who refuses to pay child support for a single one of them deserves the moniker. The boy's aunt is helping him look for his father. If you had not given her your dad's contact number, she would have approached your more distant relatives, or I guess as they know your dad was previously enlisted, they would have approached whoever his employer was at that point. In both cases, far more people would have been involved, and the fallout could have been greater. I would agree, it would have been better to warn your dad before giving out his contact number. But then again, what do you say to him that is not going to shock him? Dad, I am giving your contact number to your 12-year-old sons, the one you fathered when you were deployed in another continent. Aunt, and she has DNA results to prove. Your half-sibling's aunt may have very good reasons to be looking for his father, and your dad has to take responsibility for his actions. You unfortunately got dragged into this as a result of your dad's actions 12 years ago. Your stepmother is crying because the news is a shock to her. We do not know what agreement they had when your dad was deployed. There may be other factors at play that you are not aware of, but ultimately you dad caused this, not the a-hole. I didn't think about this either, regarding the first part. That makes me feel a bit better. Honestly, you gave a dad to your brother, how had been looking for his father. Whatever your dad did to your stepmom isn't your fault. Came to say the same thing. When a child is looking for their parent, they find them. And the more the parent avoids the circumstance, the more the child will try to reach out. You didn't ruin their marriage? Your dad's actions 12 years ago created this situation? You didn't lie or cheat. You just exposed the truth. I guess I'm just feeling guilty because he was never a bad father to me. He always took care of me, he spoiled me, and he still spoils me. He gave me his GI Bill benefits. He pays for my phone bill, he feeds me, and he takes care of me when I need help. He's never been great with words, but he's always been there for me. He was decent to my mother. They even made arrangements so that I could be with both of them equally. He's always been fair. He's always been supportive. He's just a regular dude trying to look after his family. These are the thoughts that I'm having, despite the fact that he did cheat and he does need to take accountability. Me exposing the truth may have ruined his life, and he didn't do anything to me that would warrant my betrayal. I know these might be ridiculous things to think, but I can't stop thinking them. Being a good father has nothing to do with being a good husband. They are different things. The only person who betrayed someone in this story was your father. Passing along information isn't betraying someone. You're just the messenger of information he created. Just because they were crying doesn't mean they are breaking up, and even if they did break up, it wouldn't remotely be your fault. Instead of feeling guilty for sharing your thoughts with your half-brother's aunt, why not focus on the fact that you have a 12-year-old half-brother? Isn't that a fantastic surprise? Does he have a stepfather and half-siblings in his country? Is he disadvantaged as a result of his circumstances? If your father is the kind of guy you've described, he will want to meet his son and make up for lost time. I wish I could give you an award. Thank you for saying these things.